Of Nebraska have dominated Big 12 women's gymnastics for the better part of a decade. But now, in year number 10, there are rivals to their throne. The Iowa State Cyclones, led by first-team All-Americans Janet Anson and Laura K. Powell. The Oklahoma Sooners, with all-around star Brittany Konchak-Schumann. And the Missouri Tigers, featuring #1 ranked balance beamer Bunny Schwartzman. The Huskers are taking on all challengers. Next. Foot of snow here in Lincoln, Nebraska earlier this week, but the Cornhusker Highway has been cleared just in time for the best gymnasts in the Big 12 to make their way here to Husker country. Yes, it's the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships, and Dan Kindig and his Huskers, along with 3 other teams, playing for this. It is a Big 12 championship trophy. And welcome to the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships. Bill Jones along with the 3-time Olympian John Roethlisberger. We welcome you to Lincoln. And fortunately, gymnastics is an indoor sport. John, it is cold outside, but the action should be very heated in here and for the top 13 teams in the country.
You know, Bill, we've come to the Big 12 Championships 3 years now, but the storyline always seems similar. Parity, parity, parity. 4 of these teams ranked in the top 13 in the country, and it is going to be a tight battle, no doubt about it. But I have to be honest with you, there is a favorite. Iowa State has been unbelievably consistent this year. They have a great group of seniors. They're unbelievably solid. Depth is great. Undefeated in the conference. You got to give them props as the favorite coming in.
And that's why they are ranked 4th in the country. As far as individually, now Nebraska did lose Rochelle Simpson and others off last year's team. No seniors on this team, but they have a very good sophomore in Emily Parsons.
You're not kidding. Undoubtedly, Emily Parsons is the leader of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. She has been so solid this year. She has 7 all-around crowns to her name. And if Nebraska's going to do well, Emily Parsons is going to have a great, great competition. And for Iowa State, we see a lot of familiar faces, and these are 2 of them. Janet Anson and Laura K. Powell are 2 of the top all-arounders for Iowa State. But as I mentioned, they have great depth. If these 2 struggle, I guarantee you one of the other top gymnasts from Iowa State will step up and stop the bleeding.
Well, because of those 2 and others, the Cyclones have a lot of confidence coming into this meet, and so should Oklahoma. In fact, 2 years ago, the Sooners won it all.
They did, and this year they are led by Brittany Konchak. Brittany struggled her freshman year. It was marred by a knee injury. Her sophomore year was rough as well, but she has found her stride in this, her junior year. She has been Coach Nuno's most consistent athlete, and undoubtedly she will be on her game today. And Missouri, unlike the other teams, they have the fewest individual stars. But in my opinion, they have the most charismatic gymnast on the floor tonight. That's Lauren Bunny Schwartzman. And if Missouri is going to do well, it is going to be not only behind Lauren's gymnastics. She's ranked #1 in the balance beam in the country. It'll be behind her leadership, her heart, her soul, and her voice.
In the first rotation, KJ Kindler's Iowa State Cyclones will start on vault. We look at the rotation, and Oklahoma on bars, John, and it's always more difficult starting on bars.
It is, you know, but the one I wouldn't want to start on is the balance beam. Oklahoma's worst event is bars, which they will probably start out a little bit in a hole, but they'll definitely pick it up after that.
So the Missouri Tigers on the balance beam to get things started, and Jody Heineke first up on the beam.
And this is the event. It's tough no matter where you put this in the lineup, but first event at the Big 12 Championships, a championship meet to get up on the balance beam is not an easy task, but if you're going to have somebody do it, you want somebody with experience, somebody who's been around a while, and Jody is a senior, so you look to her for that stability.
How much experience does she have? Well, she started gymnastics training at the age of 16 months. That's how much experience she has.
I don't think I could, like, walk or anything at 16 months, so that's pretty impressive. So far, she looks good. The ironic part about Jody is that until this year, she had never competed balance beam. And on top of that, she has not missed balance beam this entire season. Quite remarkable.
She's amongst the tops of the country in the uneven bars, but here on balance beam, trying to get the Tigers off to a big start.
And she got them off to a great start. Could not have asked for anything better from Missouri. First girl up, all the pressure, and she answers the call.
Jody Heineke, the 5'4" senior from Seminole, Florida.
Here's another look at the dismount. It's a round-off double full. A pretty difficult dismount. 2 twists, 1 flip. almost a perfect landing. Exactly what you want from your first girl up.
Brittany Williams.
And this is a solid event for Nebraska. You know, when we say it's not a team's best event, I mean, we're talking about the cream of the crop in women's gymnastics here tonight. So, you know, Oklahoma, for example, bars is not their best event, but they rank 14th in the nation, which I'll tell you what, 14th is pretty good. And Nebraska's in the same boat. They rank in the top 15 in the country on floor. So they're no slouches, but not their best event at the same time.
Brittany Williams from Hatboro, Pennsylvania, a sophomore.
She's got a big mount. Full in, back out. Almost perfectly done. She's supposed to make it a little further around on that double turn. Didn't quite complete. It'll be a small deduction.
Brittany Williams came off season ankle surgery to perform this year for the Huskers.
And floor is a good event to start on because you come into the meet, you're nervous, you got a lot of energy, and this is the place to kind of just let it all hang out, show off to the crowd. You can be really aggressive. You don't have to hold back like you would have to on the balance beam or the uneven bars.
This is a lady who 5 years ago at the Junior Olympics Nationals won the national championship in the floor exercise back 5 years ago.
Last pass is going to be a 2-flip pass. She did a front through to double twist. Little trouble on that landing, and ironically enough, that was her easiest pass to land. Overall, a pretty solid performance. She's early up in the lineup, so there's a few girls coming after her that'll put up some bigger scores, but a decent start for Nebraska.
Brittany Williams of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the defending champions here at the Big 12 meet. Let's take a look at Brittany on that first tumbling pass.
And this is big. 2 flips, 1 twist. The twist comes on the first flip. You can see it right there. Full in, back out. One of the most difficult passes being done tonight. She does it well. Incredible height.
Steve Nuno, the Oklahoma coach, he really enjoys coaching Haley DeProspero. In fact, this isn't the first. It was her mom, also Dana, who he coached back when she was in college.
The parents of a child would put their faith in me again, you know, after what I put her mother through, you know, her freshman or actually her junior and senior year, was to try to bring a national championship or a Big 12 championship to Oklahoma when I first got there. And we did. Both years we were there, that I was the assistant coach. We won the Big 8 championship, and her mother was the Big 8 bar champion, and it just means a lot to me personally that her parents would put that faith in me.
And Haley DeProspero following in mom's footsteps as an Oklahoma Sooner gymnast.
And she has been a great addition to the Sooner squad. You know, she's come in and acted like a veteran. She has been solid all around her all year. Really doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. Coach Nuno really can't say enough good things about her.
A freshman from McKinney, Texas.
Another reverse hack. Every release move is a good release move when you catch the bar. Shoot over the low bar, very nice. Very difficult to do that to the handstand like she just did right there. Another great exercise. And another double layout. She took it out away from the bar a little bit, but the landing was absolutely rock solid. Take another look at the dismount here. It's another double layout, and you'll see as opposed to Wynn, she takes it away from the bar. Not quite as high, but she comes in perfectly.
Just like mom used to do it for Coach Steve Nuno. DeProspero and the Sooners getting off to a big start, and rotation 1 continues in a moment on FSN. Welcome back to Lincoln, Nebraska, the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships. And the Oklahoma Sooners will be counting on this lady, Brittany Konchak-Schumann from McQueeney, Texas. her first performance of the night on uneven bars.
And Coach Nuno referred to her as this year's Casey Tamayo. If you'll remember, 2 years ago, Casey Tamayo came to the Big 12 championships and won. And she was just a rock-solid, consistent all-arounder. And that's exactly what Brittany Konchak-Schumann is. Rock-solid, very consistent, might not knock your socks off all the time, but she is beautiful to watch, and she doesn't fall. Another beautiful shoot over to handstand onto the low bar. Again, impeccable form, feet perfectly together. A relatively easy dismount, double tuck, but a great landing. OU is rolling.
They have to like this start, and she should be their leader throughout the evening, Brittany Konchak-Schumann.
Another look at the dismount, a full over right before the dismount makes it more difficult. And it looked like she was going to take a step there, but she did the old turn to the judge real quick, and they won't notice that step.
Fox Sports is proud to be the new home of the BCS, which is coming off the highest ratings in its history. Beginning in January, Fox will be the home to the Sugar, Orange, and Fiesta Bowls, as well as the new BCS Championship game. The BCS moves to Fox beginning in January 2007. Now the Sooners on bars. This is Stephanie Lopiccolo.
And she is a great bar worker. She's actually from Australia. And she was coached in Australia by Peggy Liddick, who coached Shannon Miller alongside Steve Nuno a number of years ago. And she has learned a lot of those great skills. She's got a lot of unique skills, a lot of toe on, toe off. Great routine, double tuck. Again, an easier dismount, but she does it well. Another full over like we saw from Konchak-Schumann to a double tuck. Again, a great landing. Great start for OU. Not their best event, but you cannot tell by the way they knocked out those routines.
And a 9.85 for Lopiccolo on bars. High fives all around for the Sooners.
They are going to be dangerous the rest of the way.
Speaking of dangerous, how about on balance beam? Bunny Schwartzman. She has put on a show throughout her career at Missouri on balance beam.
She has, and Coach Rob Drass is going to be very, very sad when she finishes her eligibility. He says she has been as close as you can get to a gimme on balance beam. And when you're talking about balance beam, there is no such thing as a gimme. But she is amazing.
Tied for #1 in the nation on balance beam coming into this meet is Lauren Schwartzman.
And the girl she's tied with is no slouch either. It's Courtney Coupette's Olympic silver medalist and former world champion. And right behind her in the rankings is someone named Ashley Postel from the University of Utah, who is a former world champion on the balance beam. So that just shows you how accomplished Lauren Schwartzman is on this event.
And Coupette's with the #1 ranked team in the country, Georgia. And Utah is right up there at the top in the national rankings as well. For Lauren Schwartzman, what she has done throughout her career has been really something for the Missouri Tigers, and not the least of which a 3-time first-team academic all Big 12.
And she really is, I think, the heart and soul of this Missouri team. You know, we were watching them work out yesterday, and they might not be the favorites coming in here. They might not have the most talent, but I tell you what, they have heart. And heart will get you a long way, and that heart and soul is this girl right here. She was cheering them on. She was the vocal leader yesterday in practice. Of all the teams working out, this team was having the most fun. They had the most smiles on their faces. They looked relaxed.
Schwartzman was the Big 12 champion on this apparatus, the balance beam, back in 2004.
Very difficult combination. Round off flip-flop, layout, step out. Perfect. So we see that familiar elbow brace. She looks like she's batting from the right side of the plate, Bill.
That's right. Got the body armor on.
Very difficult leap combination. I don't know how you smile when you're standing on the beam, but she looks very relaxed up there. Dismount, round off, double twist. I'll tell you what, I'll be surprised if we see a better balance beam routine tonight than that one. And what a way for her to finish her career if she indeed can win the balance beam title. Take another look at this leap combination. Does a full twist with a straddle right to another split leap. Very difficult to connect those two without pausing in between. Here's another look at the dismount. Round off double twist. Great form in the air. And you know when those feet don't move, that is a good landing.
Bunny hopping around there, and with good reason, because Lauren Schwartzman gets the Tigers off to the big start on the balance beam, doing what she does best. Now, Emily Parsons of Nebraska, the floor exercise.
Buckle your seatbelts. You will not see a bigger pass done tonight than this one right here. Double layout. It looked like she could have done another flip. That was amazing. No one in the country will do a better double layout than that. That was awesome.
Well, Parsons was the Big 12 newcomer of the year last year, four-time All-American, freshman year.
If she's not careful, she's going to be the Big 12 Gymnast of the Year this year.
She'd like that.
Nice combination pass right there. Incredibly high leap at the end of it. And we talked to her a little bit about the pressure of being thrust into the leader role, especially in the scoring side of the team aspect here. And she said she liked it. It's a lot different than her freshman year when Rochelle Simpson was here to take all the pressure. But she likes it. She's thrived on it, and obviously she's done well.
Parsons, the sophomore from St. Charles, Missouri.
Perfect dismount. That was a front with a double twist. Difficult landing, blind landing. Great start for Emily Parsons and the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
One of her best events. She's good in a number of events. Emily Parsons with a 9-9 in the floor exercise.
Awesome. Again, I would challenge anyone to top that. If we see a better routine than that, it's going to have to be pretty incredible.
The Iowa State Cyclones start on the vault. The first rotation.
Good job, good job.
Jade Kovach.
Jade with the Yurchenko full twist. We're going to see a lot of those tonight, and if you really want to capitalize on that vault, you got to stick the landing.
This is Katie Lasher.
She does a difficult vault. It's a half twist, blind landing. Done extremely well. Great form in the air.
And Janet Anson. They'll be counting on her throughout the night.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, very likely is your Big 12 vault champion. Not too many people are going to top it. Incredibly difficult, 1.5 twist, and a perfect landing.
KJ Kindler loves what she sees out of Janet Anson in the first rotation. Rotation 2, when we come back, Brittany Konchak-Schumann and the Sooners. Welcome back to a snow-covered campus here in Lincoln, Nebraska, side of the Big 12 Conference Gymnastics Championships. We're inside the Devaney Sports Center. The Gymnastics Championships going on, and the all-around through one rotation here. Janet Anson of Iowa State, Emily Parsons of Nebraska tied at 9-9.
Really no surprises yet, but also too early to make a call.
And as far as the team standings are concerned, through one rotation early on, Nebraska with the lead over Iowa State, followed by Oklahoma and Missouri.
Again, it's very, very tight. A lot of gymnastics left to go, but Nebraska doesn't mind having that early lead, I'm sure.
Iowa State coach KJ Kindler has a lot of confidence coming into this Big 12 meet, primarily because of the leadership from her seniors.
We have 5 incredible seniors, and I'm going to miss them dearly. I know our team's going to miss them, and they have totally taken the ball, you know, and run with it. They are just, they're a great group, and they brought great chemistry to my team, and that's the difference.
Another one of those seniors from Ottawa, Canada, is Laura K. Powell on bars a week ago against Iowa, a season-high 9-8.
And she is a contender, too, for the all-around here tonight. She doesn't show up in the rankings because she only started doing all-around about 4 weeks ago. But she certainly is one to contend with, along with her teammate Janet Anson. And she's changed her routine a little bit from last year. She's added a more difficult dismount. Difficult combination here. Blind change right to a front catch or a Jaeger flip. A little bit close to the bar. You can see she didn't have much swing when she caught the release. This is a good routine, but she seems to be just struggling a little bit through it. It's a little slow. Her new dismount, a double layout. Great finish. Another look at her release move. Jaeger flip and look a little close to that bar. You can see how her elbows had to bend, and she kind of turned her nose away from the bar just a little bit, making sure she wasn't going to catch it.
So Laura K. Powell from Iowa State, awful strong in the floor exercise in the beam. That's how she did in the uneven bars. Brittany Konchak-Schumann on balance beam for Oklahoma, a 9-9 a couple of times this season for her.
And again, this is a great event for her. She's top 10 in the nation. Lori, the gymnast right before her, she has just got beautiful dance, beautiful execution, graceful, and like that layout step out, rock solid.
It's been a big year for Konchak-Schumann. She got married last summer. As far as the gymnastics season goes, she was 3 times the Big 12 Gymnast of the Week this year.
There's a difficult acrobatic skill right here. Front tuck. Absolutely perfect. It's difficult because she cannot see the landing until her feet actually touch the balance beam. Beautiful layout gainer full dismount. OU's rolling.
A big hug for Brittany Konchak-Schumann.
Here's another look at the layout step out. Boom, perfect.
So the Sooners off to a big start here at the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships, and we continue with more of round 2 in a moment from Lincoln. Iowa State is on the uneven bars here in round 2, and Erin Detloff is next up as we welcome you back here to the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships. And Detloff with a season high a couple of times this year, 9.925 in the bars.
And we watched a couple of girls on beam who touted their gracefulness. This girl has power. She says, heck with the grace. I'm just going to rock this bar routine. You can see by the height in that Tkachev. I love seeing that. I love seeing gymnasts that just take on the apparatus like she does. Full twisting double layout. Most difficult dismount in the competition. Perfect landing. Great way to finish bars. Take another look at this dismount here. Look at the power in these giants. She's just cranking those things over the bar. 2 flips, 1 twist, straight body. Almost sticks to the landing.
She tied for first 2 years ago in the uneven bars at the Big 12 Championships. Grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, about 50 miles down the road. And Erin Detloff with a big performance in the bars this year as well back home.
Next up on the floor for Missouri.
The Missouri Tigers, Whitney Crater on the floor exercise.
And Missouri struggled a little bit on this event. They started off rough. They don't have a lot of big scores, and the other teams are putting up some big numbers. It's important that they finish strong, and Whitney's a big part of that. She's definitely one of those gymnasts that perform the floor exercise. They don't just compete it. She gets into it, tries to get the crowd involved. Nice double pipe. Not incredibly difficult, but she did it well. She did it clean. Beautiful high jump. That was done pretty well. We watched her in warm-ups a little bit, and she was struggling a number of times on that pass. I'm sure she's happy to get through it.
Whitney Crater, the junior from Little Rock, Arkansas. She participated in various scholarship beauty pageants growing up in Arkansas.
Bill, didn't you do that a little bit too? Last
She
pass.
won them though.
Double tuck, struggling a little bit on that. Big step forward on that last landing.
And Whitney Crater of the Missouri Tigers on the floor exercise, putting on a performance.
Not real pleased. You can see she's not smiling. Missouri knows they put themselves in a little bit of a hole on this rotation. Not their best event. They know they have some great ones coming up, but you certainly can't really give a lot of room to some of these other teams, and Missouri may have given them just a little bit too much. We're going to have to wait and see.
In the vault here in the second rotation, the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
This is Kylie Stone with the difficult Yurchenko full twist. Hop on the landing. But pretty solid, done well.
And this is Stephanie Carter.
Stephanie Carter again with the Yurchenko full. A little bit better form in the air than Kylie, but had that same hop on the landing.
And finally, Emily Parsons.
Hang on. It's going to be big. Yurchenko full twist. Tell you what, she sticks that landing. It's a 10 because it was perfect in the air. Incredible height, incredible distance. Nice job for Nebraska.
Ranked number 3 in the nation in the vault. She shows why. Now Lauren Schwartzman of Missouri, the floor exercise.
Nice whip through the double pike. Almost goes out of bounds. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. Heart and soul of the Missouri team. Always a smile on her face. Enjoying every moment she's out on that floor.
She's only 4'10", Lauren Schwartzman. Started gymnastics at age 6. Said her mom put me in something just to control me. She was a rather hyperactive kid.
Beautiful second pass. She might only be 4'10", but she performs like she's a 6-footer for sure. She owns the arena when she's on the floor.
Missouri coach Rob Drass calls her the most gifted natural performer he's coached. She's fun to watch.
Yeah, I know her coach is going to miss her. I'm going to miss watching her at this meet every year, too. She's been a lot of fun to watch, and she's been an incredible performer.
Out of San Antonio, Texas. Was an All-American cheerleader a couple of years growing up.
Double tuck. Great routine for Bunny Schwartzman. I can't believe she's been a cheerleader, Bill. It's so hard to tell. So hard to see that.
Isn't that surprising? Let's take another look at Bunny Schwartzman.
Here's her dismount. Round up back handspring. Double tuck. Easy dismount for her. Great landing. And Missouri really needs a big score here.
A 9.775 for Lauren Schwartzman in the floor exercise. Rotation 3 when we come back. Laura K. Powell of the Iowa State Cyclones. And welcome back to the Big 12 Conference Women's Gymnastics Championships here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Bill Jones along with John Roethlisberger, and we expected parity to rule on this day, and sure enough it has as we were at the halfway point.
It definitely has lived up to the billing. It's very, very tight. Anybody's ball game at this point. We've seen the usual suspects performing well, too. The stars from Nebraska, Iowa State, and Oklahoma doing a great job.
Not only as far as the team competition is concerned, but also individually. And let's take a look at the all-around through 2 rotations. You've got Emily Parsons of Nebraska, the sophomore, and Janet Anson. Almost a dead heat right there. And Kylie Stone of Nebraska, Brittany Konchak-Schumann of Oklahoma right behind.
The only small surprise in that is Kylie Stone. But other than that, you expected the other 3, Emily, Janet, and Brittany, to be in a battle for the top spot.
And at the midway point of this meet, the standings as far as the teams are concerned, still Nebraska with a slight edge over Iowa State, and Oklahoma, then Missouri.
It is. The top 3 really are going to be in a dogfight the next 2 events for sure. Now, Missouri has put themselves a little bit at a disadvantage. They cannot let this get away from them. Right now it's about a point. It can't get any bigger than that. In fact, it's got to start closing on the next rotation if they have any chance at all.
Dan Kindig has Emily Parsons leading off on uneven bars, and he talks about Parsons being a great leadoff on the bars, and Parsons coming off a 9-9 on the vault just moments ago, looking to get the Huskers going in a big way on bars.
And this is really her only weakness, and it's in large part due to some shoulder problems she's had in the past. But a weakness for her is really not a weakness for most people. She'll be solid here. She's a great starter for Nebraska. Looking to build on that lead, and it's going to be tough because Oklahoma and Iowa State are on great events for them. Big straddle over the low bar, almost too big, almost missed the high bar.
She might be especially pumped here to get the Huskers off to a big start on bars.
Yeah, and that was a huge reverse hack. A little bit of form in the air, toes weren't perfectly pointed. Easy dismount, toe on front half, a little bit of a step on the landing. Big sigh of relief. Nebraska probably will hope not to count that routine. It should be a decent score, but they'll try to drop it, I'm sure. Here's her reverse hack. You can see her toes are a little bit piked in the air, but it was high. Big relief.
Emily Parsons, the Nebraska Cornhusker, getting the Huskers off to the big start. Janet Anson on balance beam.
And she has a unique skill in this routine. We'll see in a minute. That's it right there. A front tuck off of one leg. And I'm amazed by the poise of these athletes tonight on balance beam from all the teams. We really have not seen any falls, any major mistakes. Again, rock solid flip-flop layout.
Hopefully that's not the John Roethlisberger jinx right there.
We're hoping it's not. As soon as I said it, I go, I should just shut my mouth right now.
Anson was the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year 2 years ago.
And that's a requirement on beam, is to go down onto the beam like that. It's a requirement to actually touch your torso to the beam is how it's written. Just the dismount. Double twist, hop on the landing, but great routine for Janet. That's exactly what Iowa State needs to do, is come in with these early gymnasts, hit solid routines, take the pressure off the last girls up, and just let them go up there and rock out some huge scores. Here's another look at Janet.
The Iowa State Cyclones have had a big year, and not the least of which was a win at Nebraska for KJ Kindler's team, and she talks about just how big that was.
It was really exciting, obviously, to break a great streak like that. But what was really exciting for us is that we hadn't won here since 1978. So it was a milestone for our program, I think, being able to come into this arena and win. Certainly 28 years is a long time, and to finally, come in here and win, it's a big milestone for our program.
Front tuck, stay tall, punch, out, and finish. Easy on the front. Da-da-da. Dismount. It's sick. Have fun. Be aggressive, Erin.
Okay, she has her marching orders, looking to have some fun on balance beam. Erin Detloff.
Yeah, I want you to go up on a 4-inch wide beam in the Big 12 championships, and by the way, have fun. Right, KJ. But you did tell her to do what Erin does best, and that's be aggressive. Nice layout, step out. I know the next few competitions, including the Big 12 Championship, the regionals, and the nationals, are going to be emotional for KJ. She loves this group of seniors that she's had the opportunity to work with, and it'll certainly be a different face on this team next year. And I know in her heart, KJ wants nothing more than to give these athletes a title on their way out. Another front tuck, a little bit low, and a definite wobble on the landing. Small deduction. She looks a little bit nervous. Not quite as relaxed as some of the other gymnasts we've seen.
Detloff back home in Nebraska. She grew up in Omaha. Ranked in the top 20 in the country in balance beam throughout this year.
A little bit of a different dismount there. A front with a 1.5 twist called the Rudy. Good landing, good routine. Gave away a couple attempts here and there, but it wasn't bad.
Erin Detloff, let's take another look at the dismount.
Here's a dismount. Front flip, 1.5 twist. Small landing, that's a good routine. There's just a few tenths here and there that aren't a big deal in themselves, but you add them up, and it could make a big difference at the end of the night.
The Cyclones and Erin Detloff trying to conquer the balance beam in rotation 3, and we're back with more of the third rotation in a moment here in Lincoln, Nebraska. The third rotation continues here at the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships with Kiera Redmond of Oklahoma on the floor exercise.
And this girl can tumble. You look at her and she doesn't look that powerful. She doesn't look like she can knock your socks off, but she starts tumbling and look out. It's big.
Redmond, a transfer from Fullerton College in California, a sophomore.
Double layout. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful landing. When she was growing up, she went to a club in Southern California called SCAS, which actually my sister went to when she was a gymnast back in the mid-'80s.
For the training that all of these gymnasts have gotten through the years at the different clubs all around the country. Just think of the hard work that they put in from a lot of them before they were teenagers, most of them.
Very difficult pass there. A whip to a 1.5 twist to a punch front layout. This routine's going to score well. She just has one more pass. If she nails it, it's going to be a big score. Double tuck, good landing.
Kiera Redmond, the 5'1" sophomore from Whittier, California.
She doesn't even look tired. She's walking off like she's ready to do another routine. Take a look at this dismount. Double tuck, done well.
And the Sooners on the floor exercise trying to gain some ground on the leaders, Nebraska and Iowa State. The Best Damn Sports Show, period, is the greatest nightly sports show on television with hosts Chris Rose, Rob Dibble, and Rodney Peete. The Best Damn Sports Show, period, weeknights at 10:30 p.m. only on FSN. The Nebraska Cornhuskers on the uneven bars here in the third rotation. This is Desiree Snitinsky.
And Desiree is one of their better athletes and definitely one of the better athletes on bars. However, she had a bad ankle injury not too long ago. She rolled her ankle, and you can see it's heavily taped on that left foot. And they weren't even sure if she was going to do bars. But here she is, gutting it out for the team. And this is where it's important. The double layout dismount. And I couldn't tell she had an ankle injury.
I couldn't tell it either. Boy, Dan Kindig, a big hug for Snitinsky, and with good reason after this.
She needs to hurt her ankle more often if it results in landings like that. Perfect.
Big shot in the arm for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and now the Oklahoma Sooners on floor exercises is Haley DeProspero.
And she started out with a huge double layout. And a very difficult second pass as well. That's a 2.5 twist. Now it's supposed to be a punch front layout, not a tuck, which won't cost her in difficulty, but it was low and the form wasn't that great, so it will be a deduction.
Prospero suffered a knee injury a couple of years ago, and you know, so many of these gymnasts and terrific athletes have come back from injuries to perform very well. Just part of the sport.
Yes, it is. And you know, she also has her ankle wrapped in Coach Nuno said that she has a sore ankle from, of all things, falling down the stairs. And you'd think,
hey, I can identify with that.
yeah.
My recovery time was longer than hers, though.
Double pike. That was great tumbling. Some of the more difficult tumbling we've seen tonight.
DeProspero with some hugs after her floor exercise routine. And the freshman, well, don't you know those coaches are looking forward to having her do this the next 3 years as well.
Absolutely. Here's a double pike again. A little bit of a separation of the legs, and her toes were a little bit piked. But you can only really see that in slow motion, which the judges don't have that luxury. I'm sure her mom is proud if she's here, which I'm sure she is.
Now the Huskers on those uneven bars, and Vanessa Milosh is awfully strong on the bars.
This girl can swing some bars for sure. She's got a very unique routine. That was a Jaeger, as we've seen before from other athletes this evening. But this is a unique release coming up right here. The toe on blind to a Markolov, the only girl in the competition doing it. Wow. Awesome routine.
Are they ever pumped up?
Another look at that routine. It's a hecht over the bar with a half turn. And she's also one of the only gymnasts in the competition doing 2 major release moves. And here's the dismount. Boom. Perfect.
Another great story, the Canadian Vanessa Milosh. You saw the knee brace. She's come back from foot and knee injuries. Missed 2 years, a 9.85 on bars for Milosh. And we continue with more of Rotation 3 in a moment from Lincoln. Rotation 3 continues now. This is Laura K. Powell on the balance beam. Iowa State is strong on the beam, and Powell may be the best of the bunch.
She is. She's ranked 11th in the nation. And KJ told me she is the most consistent beam worker that she has on the team. And in risking the jinx, she told me she has not fallen one time all year.
Laura Kay, the senior, another Canadian. Iowa State closing on beam and floor exercise.
Beautiful layout step out.
They got a shot at catching the Huskers in the team standings.
They do. All of the 3 top teams, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Iowa State, have really hit solidly in this rotation. It is going to be really, really tight going into the last event. Nice side something very difficult to land that. They're used to seeing the beam in front of them when they land. And when they land that, they're looking off over the mat, which makes it a little bit tricky. Beautiful gainer full. She keeps her streak alive. Another look at the acrobatic series. Back handspring to layout, step out. About as well as you can do it. Perfect form in the air, great height.
And Laura K. Powell finishes up for the Cyclones on the balance beam. They move on to the floor exercise, and now Brittany Konchak-Schumann on the floor exercise for Oklahoma.
She's got a big mount. Full in, back out. Incredible height.
And a big smile from Konchak-Schumann. Here's yet another gymnast that has come back from an injury. She had an ACL 2 years ago. February of '04. It's her freshman season.
There's a lot of similarities this year for OU as there were 2 years ago when they won the conference. 2 years ago, Brittany was their top all-arounder, got hurt. This year, Ashley Cooney came into the season as their top all-arounder. She's hurt and out. And Brittany's had to really step up and be the leader. And she's done well in that role.
Steve Nuno hoping that they have the same result from 2 years ago when they won the Big 12 title.
Yeah, and he was sure to let me know of the parallels and the similarities coming into this year's competition. They were a bit inconsistent during the year, and he told me, you know, the reason we lost competitions isn't because somebody else did better gymnastics. It was because we made mistakes. And, you know, mistakes are always part of the meet, but if they can put it together, he really feels like they have the difficulty to win the title. Last pass, double tuck. Great routine from Brittany, and she is also in the hunt in the all-around as well. So a couple titles for her on the line tonight.
That all-around competition is very close, as is the team competition. Brittany Konchak-Schumann, a 9-9 on the floor exercise. The Missouri Tigers here in the third rotation on the vault.
That was a very difficult suit laid out with a full twist. You do not see very many of those vaults being done because it is extremely difficult.
And here's Lauren Schwartzman.
Yurchenko with the full twist. Great vault considering she's 4'10", and I think the vault might be 5 feet. So for her to get over that is pretty impressive. Great vault for her.
So it's the high jump for her also.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Sarah Ziegler.
That was a good vault from Sarah. Difficult landing, blind landing, not quite the height we've seen from some of the other gymnasts, and also a little bit hiked in the air.
And Adrienne Perry.
And this is their star freshman, and she is extremely powerful. The same vault we just saw from Sarah, and you could see the difference. A little more height, a little bit more distance, and much straighter body in the air, and that should score better.
The freshman Adrienne Perry leading the Missouri Tigers, but it's Emily Parsons leading the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the final rotation when we come back. There's the coveted prize at the Big 12 Conference Gymnastics Championships. That's what they're shooting for as we go to the final routine. And who has the advantage through 3 rotations? Well, as far as the all-around is concerned, Brittany Konchak-Schumann of Oklahoma has taken the lead over Emily Parsons and Janet Anson, with Kylie Stone right there as well.
Well, the cream has risen to the top. It's going to be a battle. Last event, small step will be the difference in the all-around champion.
And as far as the team standings are concerned, through 3 rotations now, it's Nebraska a slight edge over Iowa State, followed by Oklahoma and Missouri.
Missouri really has taken themselves out. 1 point is way too much to make up in one event. But after that, Iowa State and Oklahoma nipping at the heels of Nebraska. Iowa State's going to have to be perfect as well as Oklahoma if they want to catch them. Nebraska is good on balance beam.
Strong arms and double back. Find it, big finish. Cheese it up. Middle pass. Stay tall on your run. Arms up. Rudy, see your feet. Huge layout, step out. Dance, dance, dance. Nice tall leaps. Last pass. Tight knees all the way. Arms up. Big punch front. Have fun. Got it. Go get him, girl.
KJ Kindler and the Iowa State Cyclones trying to catch up to the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are on balance beam here in the final rotation. Michelle Zabawa.
And it's their meet to win.
But it's very close.
But it is very close. And again, I cannot reiterate enough, balance beam, 4 inches wide. It's precarious. It's scary. The whole competition is on the line.
So at this point, would you rather start on balance beam or finish on balance beam with a small lead?
I would rather just skip it all together and do vault twice.
The Huskers have to finish on balance beam here, nursing that lead.
I think I'd rather start on beam because you have 3 more events to make up any mistakes that you might have. Michelle looks incredibly solid so far. Again, a gainer full dismount. Hop on the landing, but a good start. Take a look at this dismount again. It's relatively easy dismount, and I'm surprised. We've seen a lot of these tonight, but we have not seen a lot of gymnasts stick the landing.
So Nebraska on the beam, trying to close it out in front of their home fans. Zabawa from Omaha.
Kick and drive. Arms up. Big Rudy. Bend. Finish. Dance, dance, dance. La, la, la.
That means have fun.
You know what? That is the reigning coach of the year for the NCAA, and now I'm going to write notes down on that. Stand up, la, la, la. You heard it here first, folks.
Two-time Big 12 Coach of the Year the last couple of years, KJ Kindler as well.
I guarantee KJ is more nervous than her gymnast. You can just tell by looking at her and listening to her talk.
Jade Kovach. Here's a sophomore who redshirted 1 year, had Tommy John surgery. And of course, Kindler knows her very well because she trained at Cardinal Gymnastics there in Ames. And Kindler and Lou Ball, the assistant coach, co-owners of that club.
Beautiful double pike in the air. A little awkward on that landing. Second pass, beautiful front full, the front pike. She's getting down.
Talk about what event that you finish on. I would imagine the floor exercise might be an event that you like to finish on because you can be very expressive. You can have fun, literally, on this event.
And you can be aggressive, too. You don't have to worry about holding back. You run hard, tumble hard, show off. And ironically enough, it's hard to miss floor. Great routine. They need some great routines.
Jade Kovach getting them going here.
There's her Rudy dismount. Not a difficult dismount, but she had enough difficulty in the rest of the routine. She didn't have to take any risks at the end.
Thursdays on FSN, it's the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Tour as the world's toughest cowboys battle for their share of a purse totaling $9 million. The Wrangler Pro Rodeo Tour, Thursdays at 3 p.m. only on FSN. Check local listings for the day and time in your area. Next up for Iowa State, the floor exercise, and this is Casey Oines. Oines, the senior from Henderson, Nevada.
And she is capable of big skills. This first pass is one of the most difficult being done in this competition as far as combination passes go. Watch this. Whip, double tuck punch front. Incredibly difficult to change direction like that out of that double back. And I asked KJ Kindler about her, and the only thing she said about her floor routine is awesome. And so far, she is living up to the billing. Beautiful double tuck.
Oines is a senior, and back in her freshman year, she finished 6th in the floor exercise. See how she can finish out her career at the Big 12 meet. Now here is a senior, 3-time academic All-American.
And Iowa State and Nebraska are very, very tight at this point. And Iowa State started with a couple of good scores, not great scores. They need to pick it up just a notch to put the heat on the Cornhuskers. And this routine could be exactly what the doctor ordered. Beautiful finish. Awesome.
They've got 3 gymnasts, Anson, Detloff, and Powell, ranked in the top 25 in the country. If they get this kind of performance from Oines, who knows what can happen.
No doubt. Here's a look at this first pass again. Whip, immediate double tuck, and watch her change direction, punch front. You do it something that difficult, you deserve to have an extra mat in there for a little extra help. Amazing.
Just what the Cyclones needed to get things going here in the floor exercise. A 9.95 for Casey Oines.
The heat has been turned up in the Devaney Center.
Adrian Perry here, the fabulous freshman for the Missouri Tigers as they attack the uneven bars in their final routine.
And she's got a great background, went to a great gymnastics club in Missouri. Great American Gymnastics Express, produced numerous national team members and Olympians. And you can see the polish, great form, great toe point. Very unique, very difficult dismount, Arabian double front, blind landing. That was a great routine. Unfortunately, Missouri is pretty much out of the hunt for the Big 12 title, but they want to finish strong, and this is the future of Missouri gymnastics. Look at that. Half twist in, double front out, perfect landing. Great smile from Adrian.
Adrian Perry, the prize recruit of that freshman class for the Missouri Tigers. We continue with the final rotation here in the land of the Huskers, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Blah, blah, blah. Square, Copa, straddle late. Big Shishinova arms up. Into the corner, take your time. Whip half, arms up. Up. Rudy, big punch front. Huge. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, girl.
La, 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 blah, blah, blah. There's another pep talk for Aaron Detloff this time. You're taking notes, right, John Roethlisberger?
Yes, I am, and I'll tell you what, it is really coming down to the wire. Nebraska and Iowa State seem to be making this a two-team battle, and they are going back and forth. Big routines, one after the other. Which one is going to flinch first is the biggest question, and here we go with one of the toughest competitors competing tonight.
There's a fine contingent of Cyclone Gymnastics fans rooting on Aaron Detloff here in the floor exercise.
If I'm KJ Kindler and I want anybody on this floor right now, it's Aaron. Perfect double pipe. When I talked to KJ about Aaron, she said when she showed up at my gym, she didn't show up in ballet shoes. This girl is an acrobat. She's powerful, she's strong, and she has fun. Double tuck.
Detloff ranked in the top 25 in the country. A couple that follow her, Anson and Powell, are even higher ranked for the Cyclones on this floor exercise.
And this is, as we talked about, one of their best events, ranked second in the country. If you want a title on the line, you want to be on your best event, and this is a great one to be on. I'm telling you, watching her, you would not know that there's this much pressure on her. She just is smiling, having fun, showing off.
Much more so than on the balance beam.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, this is her last performance at a Big 12 championship. She might as well enjoy it. Beautiful last pass. This is going to be a humongous score. The Cornhuskers beware, because there is a tornado coming to town, and it's the Cyclones.
Aaron Detloff. The Cyclones are making some noise in Lincoln.
Take another look here. This is the last pass, a whip half to a front 1.5 twist to immediate punch front. Very difficult pass, especially at the end of the routine. This is going to be big. I think KJ's finally having fun.
I think she is. She's telling everyone else to have fun, and now the coach can have some fun on this, the final rotation.
And they're building on some very big scores, and the judges are going to have a tough time finding any way to go higher because they've put up some big numbers.
And right next door to the floor exercise, Emily Parsons and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. The heat is on them, as here on the balance beam, Parsons 6 beam titles this season, a season best of 9.925, and she knows she may need to match that here.
And Nebraska has to have an idea of what's going on the floor. It's literally 10 feet apart in this arena right now, and Iowa State is loud. They are putting up big scores. The scoreboards are right near each other. There's no way that they can ignore the excitement on floor and get up on this beam. It's all the pressure in the world, and we're going to see right now what Emily Parsons is made of.
Parsons, the sophomore, the leader of the Cornhuskers, ranked 6th in the nation on balance beam.
And she just has a look on her face like, you know what, this is no big deal.
second highest ranking among Big 12 gymnasts in the balance beam, behind Bunny Schwartzman of Missouri.
That is an incredibly difficult sequence, the most difficult acrobatic sequence being done in the competition tonight. She did do 2 consecutive layout step outs. Beautiful high leap. I tell you what, this girl is showing that she is the real deal. Cool and calm. Front tuck. I cannot tell you how critical this score is. Iowa State has eaten away at Nebraska's lead on the first few routines in this rotation, and Emily Parsons needs to stop the bleeding, and so far she has done just that. She's got to stick this landing. It's got to be stuck. Almost perfect. A little bit of a step.
She was the Big 12 co-champion on the balance beam along with her teammate Rochelle Simpson last year. Can she do it again?
Take a look at this. Back handspring, layout step out, layout step out. Unbelievable. Outstanding. And here's another look at the dismount. Again, the front flip with the Rudy like we saw from Aaron Detloff. Perfect form in the air. A little slide of the foot. Tries to get the judges not to notice. Probably will be a small deduction, but I got to tell you, nerves of steel, a stomach of iron.
And Emily Parsons trying to help the Huskers hold on here. It's the final performances of the final rotation, including Janet Anson on floor exercise when we come back. Welcome back to the Big 12 Conference Gymnastics Championships here in Lincoln, Nebraska. A big finish to this one in the final routine, and the Oklahoma Sooners really looking forward to this final routine because they finish on vault, and Steve Nuno talks about just that.
If you think about all the great gymnastics moments in women's gymnastics history, you know, Mary Lou Retton finishing on the vault with a 10-0, Shannon Miller in the all-around, winning her first silver medal in the all-around at the 92 Olympic Games, finished on vault. The USA team in 96 winning the gold medal, finished on vault. The Kerry Strug, you know, situation. I mean, it was always on finishing on vault. So, you know, I love the finishing on an event that's that exciting, and we're good at that event.
It is their best event, the vault, and let's check them out. Kiera Redmond first.
And it didn't go exactly as planned. Unfortunately, that was a huge vault. They took a chance on her, and it did not quite pan out.
And Tiffany Willen.
And again, with Tiffany Willen, disaster has struck for the Oklahoma Sooners. This is not what they expected coming into their best and final rotation.
Brittany Konchak-Schumann trying to take up the slack, though.
And she does a great vault, but it may be too little, too late, unfortunately, for the Oklahoma Sooners.
And now to floor exercise. This is Laura K. Powell for Iowa State, and they are really making a move on their final routine.
They have got some serious momentum. They are getting exactly what they needed. This is one of their best events, ranked second in the country, and Laura K. Powell is following some big scores. Casey Oynes earlier got a 9.95, and she is capable of matching that. Difficult first pass, whip through to double pike.
Laura K. Powell, a first-team All-American last year in floor exercise. She finished 8th at the NCAA Championships.
Second pass, double tuck. Easy pass for her. Does it very clean. And she was actually the first Iowa State gymnast ever to be a finalist at the NCAA's on floor exercise. And this is her chance to show why.
One of those senior leaders that KJ Kindler has talked about. Trying to finish it out in style here in the Big 12 meet.
And I can't tell you how critical every single tenth of a point is. Nebraska and Iowa State are going head-to-head, back and forth on this rotation. Every pass is absolutely critical. Whip half front full, and that could be the dagger that takes care of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is going to be so incredibly close.
And you know those Huskers are hearing the crowd from K-State or from Iowa State, and they really know that Iowa State's putting the pressure on them.
They absolutely are. Look at this first pass. Round off, whip back handspring, double pike. Difficult combination pass. Done extremely well.
There's KJ Kindler.
It's good to see her smiling finally. Well deserved, and it's tight. That might do it. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. I know Nebraska's got the beam finishing up, and they have another gymnast to go on floor yet, but it is incredibly, incredibly close.
All right, Tricia Wu, the freshman from California for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They try to salvage things on the balance beam.
And she has got to be perfect. Flat out perfection is the only thing that will do for the Cornhuskers. And right now, that balance beam has got to feel more like a tightrope for Tricia. Beautiful leap sequence, very high. That was very unique. One arm back handspring to back layout, step out. Beautiful. Back handspring swing down.
Of course, this is a Cornhusker team that has won 7 out of the 9 Big 12 Gymnastics championships to this point, but they are feeling the pressure from the Iowa State Cyclones.
All the skills that Tricia does, you've seen them from other athletes, but she does them exceptionally well. High amplitude, just like that dismount. Again, the gainer full, and again, we've talked about it before. It's not a difficult dismount, and you've got to stick those landings. She gave away another 1/10 of a point. And here's the one arm back handspring to a layout step out. She gets some combination bonus for that sequence.
Tricia Wu finishing it off for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and we move back to the floor exercise, the final event of the evening. It's Janet Anson.
And who else would you want to have on the floor but the 3rd-ranked gymnast in the country on this event, Janet Anson? And this could be gravy for the Iowa State Cyclones.
Early on in the floor exercise, Casey Oynes came up with a 9.95. Laura K. Powell has followed with a 9.9. Now Janet Anson could be enough to overtake the Huskers.
And she has scored a 9.95 earlier this season, so we know she's capable of some big scores. She's got just beautiful tumbling. Extreme amplitude, very powerful. Beautiful combination there.
Reigning Big 12 co-champion in the floor exercise, Janet Anson.
And that could be the salt in the wound. Iowa State may be looking at their 2nd championship. Let's take a look at this last pass again. Whip half, punch Rudy to what's called a Shushanova.
What a great shot there.
That is a fun way to finish your floor routine, and a fun way for Iowa State to finish this Big 12 championship.
That's great. You could see her teammates cheering her on, and then a high five for Janet Anson. It's a 9.9 in the floor exercise. The Iowa State Cyclones hoping that's enough to win it. We'll have the final results when we come back to Lincoln. Snowy and chilly outside in Lincoln, Nebraska here at the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships, but inside the Devaney Sports Center, warm feelings all around for KJ Kindler and the Iowa State Cyclones as they are Big 12 champions. What a performance by Coach Kindler's bunch. The final standings in the all-around, Brittany Konchak-Schumann of Oklahoma, 39.425, holds off Emily Parsons and Janet Anson of Iowa State. And as far as the team standings are concerned, the Iowa State Cyclones just barely over the hometown Nebraska Cornhuskers, and John Roethlisberger standing by with the coach and the gymnast of the year.
Thanks, Bill. I'm here with a couple of Big 12 champions. And first of all, Janet, congratulations. Big 12 Gymnast of the Year as well. How does it feel?
Pretty good, actually. I was totally shocked when they called my name.
What does this do for you guys now heading forward to the regionals and the nationals? It's got to be a big motivator, a big step for you guys towards the national championships.
We're very motivated and very confident. You know, coming in here with all these great teams and coming out with a win, a first place, and a championship is great, and we're so excited.
Well, congratulations. Good luck the rest of the season. And KJ, congratulations to you again, the Big 12 Coach of the Year as well. Did you have any idea how close this competition was coming into the last couple of routines?
Oh, we definitely knew how close it was. And I told them before we went to floor, you are going to have the absolute most amazing performance of your careers. And they said, we can, without hesitating. And then we went over there and they did it. So it was awesome.
This has got to be a little bit of an emotional night for you. You have one heck of a senior class. And I can imagine this is the best way to go out. But is it going to be hard to see them go?
I can't imagine a better way to go out. They wanted this so badly, and they led this team all night tonight. And it's very sad to see them go. I wish we could get another year of eligibility, but I don't think we can do it. So, you know, it's a great way for them to go out. I'm so proud of them, and they're such a great group of women.
Well, the season's not over, and I know you have bigger goals and goals beyond this. Is a national championship a reasonable expectation for you guys this year?
You know, when we started off the year, our goal was to qualify to the national championships 2 consecutive years because we had been there sporadically, but never, 2 years in a row. So that's our first goal, and once we get there, we'll make new goals, as we go along. But that's definitely our first goal, and the goal for our entire year is to be there 2 years in a row. So after that, we'll see what we can do, and we'll make new goals, and we'll move forward.
Well, good. Congratulations on a well-deserved Big 12 championship. Thank you very much. Back to you, Bill.
All right, thanks, John, and congratulations to those Iowa State Cyclones winning the team title. Let's take a look at the individual final results in the vault. First off, Janet Anson and Emily Parsons tie for first with 9-9 scores, followed by a Husker Stephanie Carter and Brittany Konchak-Schumann of Oklahoma. Meanwhile, in the bars, John, check this out, a 4-way tie for first. And you pronounce the names.
I'm going to pass on the names, but I tell you what, every one of them was outstanding. The bar performances tonight were out of this world.
Milosh Maitinsky Lopicolo among those winning. And in the balance beam, how about Emily Parsons? She takes a title at 9-9.
I tell you what, even though Nebraska didn't win the team championship, that performance on beam was the clutch performance of the night in my mind.
From a team standpoint, the clutch performance of the night on floor exercise for the Iowa State Cyclones. They had 3 with 9 9s or better. And how about Casey Oinas, a career high of 9.95.
I tell you what, that routine, it came in the middle of the lineup, and it set the momentum and the stage for them clinching their team championship.
And the Iowa State Cyclones are champions of the Big 12 Conference. They come to Lincoln and win again. We appreciate you joining us here for the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships. For John Roethlisberger, I'm Bill Jones. The Iowa State Cyclones are champions of the Big 12. See you later, everybody.